So please welcome and put your hands together for Richard.
Thank you. Yeah, well, there's an echo, you can hear yourself. And there's a feedback as well. Feedback. Can you hear me? Mm-hmm. All right, that's great. So yeah, as the slide suggests, still can hear myself a little bit, it can be weird. My name is Rihards Gromuls, and also, as the slide suggests, in this new digital world, I'm more from the creative side, and I want to talk about the gray area. So what is the gray area? Hello? No? All right, keep what it is. The gray area is when creativity and data merges together, and I like to call this area the common sense of humanity, aka basic knowledge, or a buzzword that we have been throwing around in the industry for the last 5 years, critical thinking. However, as an art director, as creative director, as an educator, as an interactive designer, and most importantly, as a wannabe YouTuber, I have noticed that these two modules, data and creativity, are slowly drifting apart. Because in the previous 2 years, I had the lucky chance to represent Latvia at the Cannes Lions, the Festival of Creativity, and I took all my opportunities there. I met all the people I wanted to meet. I went to see all the speeches. I met freaking Shaquille O'Neal, right? A$AP Rocky, Common Sense, like all the musicians, and I had these speeches. I went to the award ceremony, and what I noticed is that big brands and agencies are using only creativity to get ahead without the part of data. What I mean by that, they're cheating. They're doping campaigns with creativity that do not exist. And if you do a little Google search, even some people in this room don't like when I keep saying that, but I am right. Obviously, the creative industries are notoriously known for inflating numbers, showing case studies, yo, we reached that many people, we did this, we did that, because obviously you want to look good, and the better your numbers are, the client is always right, KPIs, return of investment, all that crap. And if you have more words, you work with a bigger brand and your portfolio looks better. And tech companies started doing the same thing, start creating the algorithm culture starting around 2014, when the Facebook feed changed from a chronological one to the algorithm one, followed by Instagram and Twitter, creating these echo chambers, and we really didn't care. I mean, it was cool to be a digital advertiser from 2010 to 2014 because you could have gone viral organically without paying anything, and now you have to pay, and we didn't care until obviously around 2016 when Brexit and Trump happened. And we're like, oh shit, there can be bad actors using this data in the wrong way. And obviously we cared a little bit, but there were still people cutting corners to get ahead. And luckily for us, since being woke and GDPR is trendy, big tech companies are helping us out a little bit. Like Apple, for example, is limiting the data now, starting from from September, how much data we can have from users being a content creator, data analyst, or as advertiser. And even with some funny examples, such as Google saying that they're going to be more private, Facebook saying that they're going to be a little bit more private. Even their whole revenue is about selling advertising and creating lookalike audiences. And as cute as this slide looks with animations and little hearts, this is a horrible slide because we are being grouped in this digital world, data-driven world, into groups A, B, C, and while in advertising we really don't care as much, like, all right, we're being targeted, but if you're looking in a bigger impact like life insurance, health, and security, that's a horrible story to look at, because if you are grouped in group A, B, or C, without a human input, you can be stuck in this group forever. And you can already see that impact in the educational system. As I mentioned before, I'm an educator. I teach creative thinking and digital design to young adults, late teens. And what I've noticed working with them, there is only one KPI they care about, And it's the hearts they get, the subscribers they get, and the likes they get, the views they get. That's the only thing how they value the quality of content. The more views, the more likes, the more subscribers, the technically more quality the content is. They don't even care about anything else. And because this is the only number they see, they actually are weaponizing it. And we can see it in the public space. Last year, PewDiePie versus T-Series. A year recently, James Charles, KSI. And even the most disliked YouTube video is a YouTube Rewind video where people actually went to Justin Bieber's Baby Baby song, took down their dislike to give to that video a dislike, kind of showing their stance. And this is what we only see in the public space. So imagine with these young kids, these young communities, what they do in their private space, in their WhatsApp groups, in their Snapchats or whatever, cyberbullying, mobbing, and so on. And it has a massive impact on creativity because as a content creator, you always want to make the right decisions because it's easier to lose an audience than rather to gain an audience. It doesn't matter if you do a fucking YouTube video, sorry for swearing, or you're doing advertising, whatever. It doesn't matter, you're always stuck in this because, well, you're in an endless loop doing the same things over and over again and clicking that dashboard all the time, looking at it because you care about these numbers. And you start losing the flow of creativity, you're afraid to do something new, and it can have a long-term impact on you. So what is the solution? Well, the solution is actually quite simple. Us old dinosaurs in here, we should start to teach kids that data is only a tool. That we all are humans and we have to learn, we have to teach them not to teach them the fake numbers that we made, but show them that how we got to these fake numbers. Let's put it that way. For example, Netflix is going to be a bad example, but keep with me. House of Cards, I know Kevin Spacey is not cool anymore. They killed the dog in the first 5 minutes of the show. On major American network, that would never go through. 50% of audience would just switch off, advertisers would be mad, and the show would be cancelled. But they used that data to create more creative shows, to target more creatively to the audiences. Those segmented better. I know, a little ironic what I said beforehand. That's why, because early promises of data can be a sign of inflexibility. You can be stuck. Because as humans, we always need to walk, fall down, get up. That's what we do, and that's what we should do, and we should not be afraid of that fall. Because in a data-driven world where AI is going to overtake and whatever, because in the digital world we have to remember we're making actually less jobs than the industry revolution type than we're doing now, and there's only, obviously the same story as I keep hearing around here. There are 4 pillars for us humans where we can thrive, which is communication, working together, and creative and critical thinking. I guess all I want to say is that, I mean, technology is cool and all, but we have to always create new values for ourselves that we actually care about. If we're not going to have any values as humans, especially you Germans love your traditions, the more values we're going to create, the more tech companies will have to think in a human way rather than data cell going hell, whatever, because that's where we are heading to. That's why I wish you to be just happy and have a good life and create your values you want to live by. Thank you. Dankeschön. Baldes.
Thank you very much. Quite impressive and interesting thoughts. Any questions to that? I think we have about 8.5 minutes for your questions.
Alright.
Last row, of course.
Hi, thank you for your thoughts. I'm a guy working in an advertising agency too, but I'm from the media side. I thought like what you just presented is a little dystopic, but it's like data is going to change things and it might not be a good thing at all. in some points. But what I was wondering is if you ever have thought about the topic of curated data or curated creativity, because I feel like data can help you to interpret the world in another way and to find new ways of creativity and new ideas and create things you haven't even thought about before. That's how I work with data, for example.
I mean, thank you for the question. That's obviously the common sense using data as a tool. But there's one thing that data cannot show us is a case study as well. Or a case study back home was that this one client wasn't happy about we bought some media ads, whatever, buying media stuff, where we can advertise him, and the KPIs were shit. The click rate was shit, and we use his store, because I needed to buy something off his store. It's an e-commerce store. And I wanted to buy with these revolt cards that are now international, like global cards, and I couldn't purchase anything. So I called him up, was like, is your card system down? He's like, no, everything's good. And I was like, I can't purchase it. And what we found out is why there were so many drops in the store, because he didn't implement one of those paying systems for that improvement. And that's something data will never show you, and you will never find out that before you're actually going in that kind of that scene and to see on hand. Because now it's trending in advertising field is we are all digital. The fuck is all digital? We're still doing traditional stuff, but only on a digital screen. Netflix is TV. Ads are digital billboards outside, it's still traditional media. So there's going to be new tactics soon, and when we're going to be limited on the data and lookalike audiences, who knows? Better create values, at least they last, because data is short term. Is that all right for an answer?
Right for an answer.
But you do not agree. Yeah.
Maybe we should make a panel discussion out of it for tomorrow spontaneously. But maybe you can take it offline and afterwards.
Oh yeah, I mean,
beat each other up and then.
No, I mean, I know where he's coming from, but in a sense of his field, but once you also work with production, and as well as you get data from, as I said, most importantly YouTube or whatever, when you actually with the audience, you start to see your data and the actual real-time interaction is humans are in numbers.
That's right, I would agree.
Yeah.
I will just hand the micro to the next question. Second row. Very good, thanks.
Hi, thank you for this very interesting speech. I'm wondering, because you're saying a lot about social media, Facebook clicks and likes, and there's a new development that Instagram is thinking about not showing the
likes, and YouTube is saying not showing subscribers.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because as I said, these small communities are weaponizing it, and it's an actual big issue against young teens, this mobbing, where they actually show these numbers as well for young artists. Like you're listening to that, like on Spotify, I've heard cases of these, like they don't listen to an artist because he doesn't have those listens, he doesn't have those numbers, and people are like, you listen to that crap, it doesn't even have 1 million of fucking listens. And you're like, alright, but I like it. We forgot about the part where we say, I just like it. We all here do not understand it because we're old. We live in a world where we didn't have a phone in our pocket. These kids, the new Gen Z, they grew up with a phone already, and it's a completely different thought. And for them, whatever we preached all these years saying digital is all the way to go, we're seeing in the social impact.
And do you think it's a charitable thing that the social media is doing that, or do you think it's because it's kind of taking away a little bit more of the power of the consumer, because we cannot see anymore, we don't have the transparency, what content has more likes, but the social media companies, they still
Well, for the social media companies, it's easy because the YouTube algorithm basically works on the edge. What is the policy and what isn't? That's why we have a flat earth society now, because of these bad actors. And these bad actors are the ones who are pushing the content, because we all like trash content. I'm sorry, as much as we like Chernobyl, HBO, at the same time we like to look how Bauer so Frau, these shit clips, we actually like them, because it's mindless content. And there's nothing to be ashamed of it, but the problem is if you don't have critical thinking, what is going on, you're losing it. You're losing that part of humanity. And bad actors are going to use it, and they have used it. Suicide Forest, for example. Empathy, 0. Use. Bend the dent in the universe.
I think that's a good closing word. So again, thank you very much for your applause.